Gratitude. Being thankful for our soldiers and showing it. We certainly have come a long way since Vietnam, but are we as Americans being grateful enough? As a country, we need to set aside our political ideologies. Our soldiers lay their lives on the line so that daily you and I are free to experience the American dream. That American dream may be on shaky ground these days, but all it takes is one look beyond the borders of our great nation to realize what we do have. I am just as guilty as the next when it comes to allowing myself to fall into a mindset of selfishness and complacency. Uncertain times in America and the world around us are creating struggles that are dividing us. We need to nurture relationships with our fellow man, regardless of race, religion, color, or viewpoint. Jim Carrey once said, and I couldn't agree more, "The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is." We need to treat our fellow man with respect. As Americans, there has never been a more necessary time to unify. I'm taking my first step toward unification through gratitude with this important social project. My message here is about honoring the people that deserve it. It's about raising America's collective consciousness of the true cost of freedom. In a nutshell, it's a heartfelt pat on the back of every man and woman who ever has or ever will say, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to go into the military." I can't stress enough that if it weren't for these young men and women, well, life would likely be very different for most of us. So here it is, day one, the very beginning of the Trees in Honor project. This is a very important American art project. A project that I hope will move you, inspire you, and make you think. I hope you'll listen intently to my words and create an image in your own mind's eye. Art of any value must stir something inside its viewer. What you are listening to is the beginning of my art. For that reason, and as a part of my social art experiment, I'd like you to bear with me for a moment and close your eyes. By closing your eyes, you can eliminate some of the external distractions and envision the impact of this project. Think for a moment of a soldier you know. This soldier might be a loved one, a distant family member, a friend, or maybe a stranger you've crossed paths with. What do you feel when you think about this person as a soldier? I'm going to give you a second to let that sink in. Regardless of who this person is to you, regardless of their politics, their opinions, their attitudes towards life, whether in your mind they're a good person or not, just think of them as a soldier and what that means. What might it be like to be in their mind while contemplating some of the difficult decisions they have to make? What do you think goes through a soldier's mind when they get orders to be deployed to a dangerous part of our world? Then what goes through their mind on the sleepless night before they leave, or the following morning while hugging their children goodbye? What must that be like for the person you've pictured in your mind? It's gotta be tough, heart-wrenching in fact, but I think you'll agree that behind those emotions is a huge sense of honor and patriotism. A sense that they are making the world a better place for their children and grandchildren. To me, this is what a soldier's all about. A strong sense of commitment combined with sacrifice. Do you think their pride makes the difficult part any easier? What must it be like to think, I may never come home? I may never hug my husband or wife again. I may never feel the touch of my child's hand again. What if I don't see them grow up? What if I don't attend another practice or recital? I may never again feel the swell of pride for their accomplishments. Without me, what will they feel? What will they be going through? I could go on and on about the difficult decisions these young men and women have to make. But for now, that's not what this is about. And I personally can't begin to imagine how they do what they do. What I do know is that as a society, we certainly don't do enough for them. And that's how this project began. I think everyone is familiar with dog tags worn by military personnel since about 1917. They were originally implemented to identify our soldiers who were lost in battle. Think for a minute of this tiny little object. On its face, it's nothing more than a thin piece of metal with information embossed on it. But what a powerful little object it is. So much emotion surrounds it. I really can't think of another item that you could lay in the hands of another and have it evoke a more consistent response of patriotism, honor, or sacrifice. And the stories they invoke. Everyone has their story to tell. These little tags are so much bigger than the sum of their inscription or the metal they are made of. That's why I've made dog tags an important part of this project. You might be asking yourself, what exactly is a tree in honor? A tree in honor is a magnificent life-size silver tree, surrounded by benches, creating a contemplation area. The tree will be filled with dog tags as leaves, bearing the names of military personnel from that community. And beneath its shadow will lie brass dog tags, depicting the golden leaves of fall, in honor of our fallen soldiers. Each tree in honor installed in cities all across the United States will stand as the military family tree for that community. Thousands of tags will be displayed depicting the brothers and sisters of the armed forces. The reason I call them brothers and sisters and not fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, etc., is that each tag will be viewed equally, without consideration of rank or age, as they all have made sacrifices for our way of life. Now, imagine a light breeze and this soothing giant wind chime above your head. Imagine the sun is shining, sending glints of light bouncing from leaf to leaf. Feel the warmth of the light of the sun and the power in this family of thousands. Imagine bowing your head and viewing the golden leaves beneath the tree. Imagine the lives that have been lost and the solace that this could possibly bring to their families. We are all driven by our emotions, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. This project is emotion and dialogue. And that dialogue begins with how Americans feel about the idea of a tree in honor in their community. For now, it's not about the actual experience of seeing the art. I want to chronicle the impact just conveying this idea has had on the American public. And this is where you come in. How you feel in this moment is the first brushstroke on this amazing project. I'm not asking for your support. I'm not asking you to volunteer, nor am I asking you for money. I want your emotion. Good art creates an impact, stirs emotion, and affects humanity. I want to affect humanity with this idea, and then later with the physical art. But most importantly, I want you to be part of the art. So if you were moved by just thinking about a tree in honor, I want that emotion preserved. I want to hear from you. I want you to convey the feelings and stories that came to mind as I described the tree. I want you to tell me just what this project would mean to you. I thought about accepting letters and emails, and I may still do that somewhere down the line, as I don't want to leave anyone out who'd like to respond. But I got to thinking just how much emotion is conveyed in the face of someone telling their story or giving their opinion. The part of the art I'm looking for is the emotion, and I'm afraid it could be somewhat lost in written form. So for now, I'd like you to post a video response here on YouTube and title it, My Trees in Honor Emotion. Post your emotion, tell your story, and be proud. Proud to say I was part of a very important American art project. The journey begins, and it all begins right here, right now, with you.